Hello and welcome to Gardening with Ben's award-winning podcast, as voted by Grow Your Own magazine and by my followers and listeners. So if you're new to the podcast, make sure you click that subscribe button to stay up to date with all our podcasts, listen back to all our previous episodes, sit back, grab a brew and let's enjoy today's episode. Hello and welcome back to Gardening with Ben. Well, it's Saturday. Saturday is finally here and the weekend has begun. I bet you're all thinking, thank goodness, because of this beautiful warm weather that we've been having in the UK. And it's still going to stay warm today on Saturday. I think it's going to get to 17, 18 degrees today, so it's going to be a nice day for being in the garden and the allotment, obviously. Make sure that you're sun creamed up because you never know, the sun may get you, and you always want to play safe when you're out in the garden. When the sun's shining, or even in the greenhouse, you've got to be careful because the sun can burn you through the greenhouse if you're not careful, or even the polytunnel. I've been sunburnt in the polytunnel before and not realised it, but then when I've got home I've been red as a beetroot, so always be careful. And yeah, I'm certainly making the most of this glorious weather. Obviously, as you know, I'm on night shift this week, and I don't usually go to the allotment when I'm on night shift because I'm usually too tired or just lounge around when I'm on nights because I'm in a zombie mode, and I just don't usually bother with going down. But because it's so nice, I've been waking up at like say 1:30 and going to the allotment for 2 o'clock and staying there for a couple of hours and then coming back because I don't want to miss out on this glorious sunshine. It's not often we get decent weather like this in the UK at this time of year, so you need to make the most of it while it's definitely here. And I hope that you've managed to able to get some time in the garden yourselves this week and enjoy a bit of it. And it's certainly pushed me forward with what I've been doing, and I've now started sowing all my seeds. Usually I'm sowing them possibly middle of April, but I've got them all started. Well, I've been sowing all my flowers this week. I've sown all my flower seeds yesterday, so I've got all them done. It didn't take too long. It usually sometimes takes a bit longer, but I've been recording it as well because I want to try and show the start to finish of growing flowers from seed and be able to share it on my YouTube channel with you all so that you can all see how easy it is to actually do. So I'm hopefully, obviously not going to upload them until the end of the year once they've flowered, so stay tuned and hopefully we'll have some new videos coming on our YouTube channel. If you've not followed my YouTube channel, make sure you go and check it out, Gardening with Ben, and give it a subscribe, and you'll be able to see all my videos, what I do as well on there. And I'm often doing tours of the allotment and showing you how I'm getting on with everything and just how it's coming along, because obviously I talk about it on here, but sometimes it's better off having visuals as well, and so that you can see what I'm exactly doing. And somebody asked a question yesterday. They said, am I too early to start sowing in a unheated greenhouse? And my answer to that was no, now is a good time to be doing it, because a lot of seeds will need to start growing now, like your tomato seeds, your melon seeds, your peppers, chilies. And my greenhouse is unheated, and every year I've sown around this time of year and I've had great success. Obviously it gets colder at night when it's in the greenhouse, but you should be pretty safe around now. It should be okay, and they should survive being in the greenhouse. When it gets cold at night, they don't usually get frost killed because they've got that protection of the greenhouse. Sorry about that, I'm a bit tired. I'm recording this at 2 o'clock on my dinner break. But yes, definitely now is the time to start sowing your seeds. So I've sown all my flower seeds this week, so next up will be to start sowing all my vegetable seeds and my fruit, which includes my melons and my tomatoes. and getting all them growing. I've just got to make sure that I've got enough seed trays, because I've never usually grown as many flowers as I've done this year, and I think I counted up that I've used about 15 seed trays just to do them. I've tried to sow some in pots that haven't got many seeds in the packet to save using a seed tray, because usually I'll just use seed trays for everything. But if there's only about 20 seeds in a packet, I'll just throw them in a plant pot and grow them in there, and then obviously when they're big enough, I'll separate them out all into individual plant pots and grow them on and get them bigger. And I just can't wait to see all the new colour coming in my plot this year, because like I said, growing flowers is quite new to me. I've grown vegetables for years, but I still get excited of growing them. But I'm so excited about growing flowers from seed, because it's something new for me. It's not something I've done much of, so it's all still a learning curve for me, and trial and error really, because all I end up doing is just looking online, seeing other people's tips and advice, read books and magazines to try and find out what you need to do when growing flowers. And that's what always makes it fun really, because you're always learning and you've always got something new to learn when you're doing gardening, and nothing's straightforward. Some things grow, some things don't. Sometimes when you get a packet of seeds, there could be a packet of duff seeds and none of them might germinate. It all just goes down to luck at the end of the day gardening. You can do everything by the book and you can still fail, but it's just trial and error and whether you're lucky or not. And most of the time you are lucky with gardening. As long as you look after the plants will look after you, and you'll get decent crops and decent flowers from what you've sown, and hopefully you'll have a great reward and be able to see what you've done, because obviously you can go out and buy your plants from the garden centre, but there's no enjoyment in starting them from seed, seeing them germinate, seeing when they first push through that soil and into the light, and then when you've got to pot them all into individual pots. At the end of the day, I've got no children. These are my little babies and I will nurture them until they are fully developed plants, if you want to put it like that. But yeah, it's something that I do really enjoy doing, and obviously I hope that comes across in my podcasts, what I do. And I'm enjoying doing these podcasts at the moment, because I've been putting them out literally nearly every day at the moment, because I'm getting that many people listen to them, and everybody's been commenting on my posts this week on Facebook saying how much they're enjoying the podcasts. So I do appreciate that. If you're one of them, thank you very much. I do appreciate you commenting on my posts saying how much you enjoy them. And if you've got anything that you want me to talk about, send me a message on Instagram or Facebook. I'm always open for options and always looking for new topics to talk about, to be honest, because sometimes I feel like I'm going over the old stuff over and over again. And obviously as the year goes on, I'll be talking about different things as I'm doing different things on the allotment and how I've done it, share my tips and advice on it and what I'm doing at the moment. So at the moment, obviously there's not much happening on my plot at the moment. It's a case of just sowing all my seeds and getting them done, and then once I've got all them sown in my shed, then it's getting back to doing all the work what needs doing on the plot. And the next main job is to go around painting everything, which I am putting off and not looking forward to. I don't have to paint it. I don't have to paint all my beds and all my fences, but I do it just to make it look pleasing on the eye, if that's how you want to put it. I just want it to look nice and spruced up. I do it every year, and once I've done it, it all looks nice and freshly coated, and it looks ready for the growing year ahead, and it just gives it that aesthetic look, to make it look like it's somewhere that's loved and enjoyed. And like I said, I don't need to do it. I could just leave them as wood looking but no, I always like to give it a lick of paint and a spruce up and get it all looking nice. And then once I've done all the painting, it's a case of clearing out the polytunnel. I've not used that for 2 years, and most of the year it's just as a dumping ground. As I'm moving stuff off the plot, I just shove it in my polytunnel and hopefully forget about it. But then I can't forget about it when it comes to May time, because I'll be planting all my tomatoes in there. I'll be starting them all off in my shed, but as they're ready to pot on into bigger pots, that's when I'll move them into the polytunnel and get them set up and ready for the growing season ahead. And hopefully I will be setting up my irrigation system as well. I created an irrigation system where it's drip fed from my water butts, so that there's constant drip for my tomatoes and my cucumbers, so that they're getting the constant water to them, and it helps them grow. It saves me having to go down to the allotment every day to water them. The water butts will last for 4 to 5 days, and I just keep going and filling them back up, and it keeps them watered, it keeps them going and keeps them alive. And that's the thing with watering tomatoes, they do need water every single day, but if I've got a constant drip on them, it works perfectly, and it just keeps them drinking water all the time, and I've had great results from doing it. And obviously, because it's from a water butt, all I have to do is just chuck in the tomato feed in the water butt, and then it will go down to the tomatoes and look after them. So yeah, that's a little tip for you if you want to do it. I started off with having water bags what hung up, but eventually they got too heavy and they snapped, and that's when I decided I'm going to try and fix it from my water butts. And it takes a long time to set it up, trust me. Setting up water butts to drip feed all my tomato plants, but once I got it all cracked and sorted, wow, was it fantastic. It worked a treat. I shared a video of it a couple of years ago on my YouTube video, so if you want to check it out and see what I did, have a look at that and see how it got on. But like I said, my main thing for growing in the polytunnel this year is going to be melons. I'm really going to concentrate on them, and I'm going to be putting so much effort into seeing if I can get some great melons from growing in my polytunnel here in the UK. So yeah, it's a challenge, but fingers crossed we do it. I did grow some melons a couple of years ago, cantaloupe melons, and they did really well and tasted absolutely delicious. They just melted in your mouth. They were beautiful, the best melons I've ever tasted, and I mean that. So yeah, I did try watermelons one year, but I didn't have much success with them. But again, I didn't have much time that year, so they didn't do very well. But we're going to try some watermelons again this year, and I think these are designed to grow in the UK, these ones that I'm growing this year. So hopefully we may even get some watermelons, which will be good. That would be very fantastic. I'd love to see the results from them and see if we do actually get them growing. And these ones I think are designed to grow outside, so if they're growing in the polytunnel, fingers crossed they will do a lot better than what they will do outside. So we've got that to do, and then we've got our carrot beds to design. I want to grow carrots in tubs again this year. I've never had luck with growing carrots in the 16 years that I've had the allotment. They've been absolutely rubbish, but I did start some off in tubs last year, and I forgot to water them, so they died. But I was emptying the tubs the other day, and I found one perfect carrot in it. And I was like, wow, that's the first carrot I've ever grown really well. So if that one carrot worked, the rest would have worked if I'd have kept them watered. So we're going to try that again this year and see what results we get from them, and hopefully we'll have some delicious carrots picked from the allotment for once in the 16 years that I've had my allotment, and we'll see how we actually get on. But usually I go to the allotment in the morning, and never anybody's usually there. Nobody's ever usually there to speak to. It's just me on my own on the plot. I never usually see anybody down there, because everybody's at work, obviously. A lot more people who've got allotments these days are not retired people, they're workers. The generations seem to have changed in people uptaking allotments, which is good. People are getting into it a lot younger, and they're seeing the benefits from it, which is fantastic. People aren't just taking them on because they've retired now. People are taking them on because they know how much they benefit. And yes, sometimes you're not saving as much by having an allotment, because you're spending all the money on the seeds and on the manure and the compost and everything like that. It works out still cheaper to go to the supermarket to get it, but you're not having to pay for all the air miles that it's coming from. They taste a lot better, they're organic, they're fresh, and you'll get the enjoyment of doing it. And because I've been going down in the afternoon, I've been seeing new people, which is fantastic. And I got talking to some lovely couple today who've got chickens down there, and they were saying how nice it is down there and how much they love it, and they're taking the children down to the plot and how much they're getting into doing the gardening, and they want to learn them at a young age of gardening and the benefits of it. And if that had not been my dad who did it to me, I wouldn't be in the same boat. I wouldn't be doing the allotments or anything like that. People used to think I was daft at 17 having an allotment and going to an allotment all the time, but look at me now. People are crying out for allotments, and I've had my plot for 16 years now, and some people will be on a waiting list for years because they're that in demand. People are struggling to get hold of them, and it's something no new allotment sites will open up, and yeah, it's usually just a waiting game to get an allotment. So I hope that you have a fantastic Saturday. Start writing those lists of all the stuff that needs to be done in the plot this weekend. Obviously it's Mother's Day tomorrow, so don't forget your Mother's Day present if you're going to get one. I need to go after I've finished work to go and get my Mother's Day present. Shh, don't tell my mum. But I need to go and get hers, and hopefully we'll pop to see her as well if she's in, so we'll see how we get on with that. And the best thing is about my mum is that I pick all my fruit from my vegetable patch on my allotment, take it to my mum's, and she makes me crumbles and gives them me back, which is a perfect combination. I grow it and she cooks it for me. Who couldn't ask for a better mum, eh? But yeah, definitely. So I hope that you have a fantastic weekend, everybody. I hope that you get plenty done down at the allotment, and I hope that you all have a good time in this beautiful weather as well. Make the most of this sunshine while we've got it in the UK, because like I said, it's not around very often. Who knows, it could actually be snowing next weekend. The weather just changes all the time. It's very unpredictable, so while we've got the beautiful sunshine here in the UK, definitely make the most of it, and I know I certainly will be doing. And hopefully we'll be back off from our last night shift is tonight, Saturday night, so I'll be waking up around dinner time on Sunday, and I'll be able to spend all day, all afternoon down at the allotment on Sunday. And the clocks change as well, so I'll be able to stay down at the allotment until it goes darker, which will possibly be around 7, half 7, so hopefully we'll get plenty done on Sunday. And we may even go live on my Facebook at the week on Sunday as well. So if you're not following me on Facebook, follow me on Facebook and you'll be able to see my live videos. I do live videos regularly down on the plot, just to go around showing everybody what I'm doing and answer any questions what people may be having. So yeah, I hope that you have a fantastic weekend, everybody. As always, remember, keep smiling, keep gardening, and keep listening to Gardening with Ben's podcasts. So thank you for listening to today's episode of Gardening with Ben. We hope that you've enjoyed this episode. Remember to do click that subscribe button to stay up to date with all our podcasts. Feel free to share them on your Instagram stories so that it spreads the word about my podcast and we get lots more listeners. Feel free to check out my social media sites, Facebook and Instagram as well, Gardening with Ben, and also my YouTube channel, to stay up to date with all my handy videos, how-to videos, and sharing my tips and advice. And feel free to check the link as well in the description for my Gardening with Ben t-shirts. Lots of funny gardening design t-shirts in there for you to purchase at great prices too. So thanks again, and as always, remember, keep smiling and keep gardening.